Have you heard this one? My husband posted this on his wall on Facebook. In fact, the mere act of opening the box will determine the state of the cat, although in this case, there were 3 determinate states that the cat could be in. These being alive, dead, and bloody, furious. What does a cat in a box have to do with you, law of attraction, and what you attract? Before we talk about what probabilities are and what the cat in the box has to do with you and your energy and the things that you attract, please be sure to hit subscribe up above or hit like for us. All right, let's get started. Are you ready? This is my buddy Oberon. He joins me in all of my videos because he's so very wise. He doesn't really like talking about cats, but you know, he's wise so he can get over it. I'm Kaylin, and I'm co-founder of the Golden Flow system of accelerated well-being and abundance. So you can call me your abundance coach. So now, have you heard about this whole idea of the cat in the box? I think it's a quantum physics thing, but I'm not a scientist. I dated a rocket scientist once, but I'm not a rocket scientist. So, in layman's terms, or Kaylin's terms, basically the idea is that if a cat is in a box with cyanide or something like that in it, well, until you open the box, that the cat in the box lives in 2 states. One being that the cat is dead because of the poison, or 2, that the cat has survived. Well, which one is it? And the whole idea to this cat in the box idea is that the probability of either outcome exists until you open the box. So basically, what this is sort of about is like a tree, and this is the best metaphor I can really come up with that has worked before in explaining probabilities to people. Like a tree that is going in different directions, how it is that your life branches, what direction exactly you branch in, so you know what outcome of that cat, really depends on the probabilities. Have you ever heard in quantum physics this idea that there are multiple universes going on? If you saw a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow in it, I think at least 10 years ago, called Sliding Doors, which I totally recommend, very fun movie. It's about this idea that, you know, she gets on, or she goes down to a subway, and which subway she gets on, or which one she goes in, sets her off on totally 2 different courses, 2 different experiences. Sort of like a tree branch, right? Which way does the tree's branch grow, and how does that affect your experience? And out of these parallel universes, or out of these sliding doors, or simply with the cat in the box, which version are you going to experience? The version in which the cat's alive, or in which the cat's dead? Which, you know, experience along that branch, dependent upon your choices, are you going to experience? Which way is your life going to go? So what this really means relative to you, and how this is so relevant relative to law of attraction, is that when you think about it, the law of attraction basically is an idea that there's a universal law in which you are really attracting things to yourself. People always say, what is the law of attraction bringing you? But more aptly, it's more like, where is your magnetism at, and what are you attracting? So in that sense, the probability depends. The probability, or the different paths that are available for you, the different options, choices that are here before you, depend on your own energy, and hence law of attraction, what you're attracting. So in this sense, I want you to kind of get an idea that you have an unlimited number of possibilities. I'll give you a real quick example. I once heard an interview or something with Lady Gaga. Oh, maybe she was on Ellen. Anyway, and she was saying that she had decided that she was going to be a rock star. She sort of like tapped in and said, this is who I'm going to be. That's what it's going to be like. She was tapping into that probability. Now, my whole point is that for however big and huge of a rock star Lady Gaga is, it was only one probability that she followed. In other words, if she hadn't said, you know, I'm going to be a rock star, which is really living by the law of self, she honored herself, she said who she was, and in that flow, the universe said, as you wish, so it is. Because she was able to honor herself, she then attracted, with law of attraction, the probability of being a rock star. Now, had she not had that confidence, had she not said, you know, I'm a rock star, that's what I'm going to live, that's what I'm going to be, that's like really what I'm going to align to, that's the life I'm going to take on in the feelings and thoughts and actions, had she not said that, we probably wouldn't even know her name. And the theory goes that there is another universe, or many, in which she's not a rock star, because they're different probabilities. So let's bring it back to you again. Because what I wanted you to see with Lady Gaga is this idea that there's really an unlimited number of probabilities out there. However, I want you to think of yourself either on a piano or in a rainbow of colors. The piano has all these notes that you can hit. They're not unlimited, but let's say, you know, if you think of pianos as being big, it's a vast number of notes that you could hit. Or a rainbow has an endless number of rays of colors in it, so it's really unlimited. And where you are in proximity to any color on the rainbow or to any keys on the piano determine the probabilities that are closer to you. So if you're sitting at one end of the bench of the piano, it may be really less of a probability that you're going to hit the keys down here and really play. And granted, that's why people sit in the middle. But you get a sense of where I'm going with this. You are at a place vibrationally that lies somewhere in that rainbow, in the color range, or within a certain neighborhood of keys on the piano. And within those proximities are really the probabilities that are available to you. Now here's going to be a really fun thing. You have very likely had this experience. When I work with people, a lot of the times they go, oh my God, you know, like it clicks and they've had the experience and now they're aware that they've had the experience. You have probably had that experience where you have two probabilities and there's something you want, probably one that you prefer, and you can kind of sense them. You kind of get a feel that one's more likely than the other. So for an entrepreneur or for a salesperson, if you've ever been working with a potential client, or even if you've ever been starting to date someone and maybe it's between you and another person, so there's those two probabilities. They'll pick you, they won't pick you. If you're looking at a potential client, they'll become, you know, they'll go into business with you, they won't go into business with you. You can feel those two probabilities. Your confidence, your energy will take you from one to the other. And what's even more amazing is that when you shift your energy, when you get in the flow and you let your energy automatically raise itself, one of the things that happens is you'll feel like you're closer to one of those probabilities. In other words, it'll feel like the person you want to date is more likely to pick you, or the person you want to go into business is more likely to say yes, if that's what you prefer. And then if you have a really bad day and things feel like they're, you know, kind of spiraling down, if you've ever been depressed or you've just had one of those days where you kind of take an energetic dip, then you'll notice things happening, like that person that you're interested in didn't call when they said they would call. The business person didn't take the action they said they were going to take movement towards becoming a business partner or a client with you or whatever it may be. And you start to feel or energetically sense that that probability is slipping away. Because basically, let's say on the rainbow you've slipped down. You know, you're not as highly vibrating, so the higher vibrating probability now feels further away. It feels less likely. So, has that totally happened to you? Because like I said, when I explain that and teach that to people, they generally go, oh my God, yes, I've totally seen that. How do I get myself to that point where I can reach that higher probability, where more of the thing that I am choosing, that I'm preferring, becomes more possible. Now, possible and probable really are two different words, but you can kind of see how you can get pretty close to using them interchangeably. Because a probability is just the probability, which can be very small or very great, of you being in the vibrational neighborhood of being able to attract or have law of attraction bring you an experience. So if your energy is lower versus higher, generally speaking, what you prefer is higher vibrating, more money, a greater love, a greater relationship or friendship, a bigger house, a bigger vacation, a better experience, a bonus at work. You know, generally speaking, our desires are encouraging us to raise our vibration. So chances are you want something that vibrates higher. How do you get there? Of course, law of attraction would say you have to vibrate at this level and then law of attraction will bring it to you. That makes sense. How do you do that? How do you, as I said, because you're really the attractor, it's really your magnetism, it's really your vibration that then puts you in the proximity of something lower or something higher. How can you effortlessly get to something higher? You get in the flow. Using my golden flow system, in 3 simple steps, you flow your energy. What happens is when you flow your energy, you're going to find yourself just effortlessly and automatically lifting. So here's how you do it, quick and simple. Step 1, you welcome the experience that you're having. For example, if you're wanting that relationship, you might be like, wanting it, I want it. Let yourself have that, you know, welcome it. I can tell that I want it, I shouldn't want it so much. Don't say that, you know, or go, oh look, I welcome that I want it, and then I go, I shouldn't want it. Because energetically, you're kind of bouncing back and forth. Can you get a sense of that? So step 1, welcome it. Step 2, allow it, embrace it, experience whatever it is that you're feeling. I feel up and down. I feel like I want it and then like I shouldn't have it. And I'm going back and forth and I'm taking myself on my own roller coaster. Ride the roller coaster. Embrace it. Allow it. And then step 3, let it flow. When we let something flow, we take our focus off of it. Now, if it's still bothering us, if we don't feel like our energy is really lifted, do it again. 1, 2, 3. When you get in the flow, what happens is you are naturally going back to a real natural way of living. If you'll notice, children, they trip, they fall, or someone hurts their feelings, and they come home, they're upset, like the world is coming to an end. They tell you about it, like you go, oh, what's wrong? They tell you about it, and then you're like kind of upset. You're like, oh my gosh, it's so, you know, kids are so mean, and I can't believe they did this to you. And you're upset, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go play now. And you're like, oh my God, wait, what happened? I just got hit by an emotional hurricane, and now the kid's fine. Why? Because they automatically, when they automatically welcome it, they automatically get in the flow with it, they feel it, and then they let it flow. They automatically just have the experience and then let it go. So you want to get to that point too, because when you get to that point, you're going to automatically and effortlessly have your experiences and get in the flow with them. And as you do, you're going to just raise yourself. And you're going to tap into more of those probabilities. As a matter of fact, what happens is, as you raise your energy, then you start to attract other probabilities. Because if you think of it back in that rainbow or the piano key, you're now in a new proximity of different colors in the rainbow or different keys on the piano. And now new possibilities come forward. There's new things that could come your way because those probabilities are always there. What's way down at one end or another end, less probable. But what's within your neighborhood, quite probable. And there's always, generally speaking, 1 or 2 probabilities that are real close by. And so get in the flow. Use the golden flow system to get in the flow and raise your energy so that you go to the probability that you prefer. And so that in the next moment when you're ready for something new and you're ready to have life bring you new probabilities that are wonderful, filled with things that you might want to have, well, you let them attract to you effortlessly because life will just bring you those new colors, those new keys, and you get to choose again. Let's see, now what would I prefer to experience? Maybe you captured that relationship and maybe now you'd like a probability where you both go on this romantic, amazing vacation, right? life is meant to get better and better. No, it doesn't always do that. And often it can feel like it gets worse and worse. The reason for that is because you're going down the scale, so to speak, and your probabilities are getting lower vibrating. Your energy is getting lower vibrating because instead of getting more and more in the flow, you're getting more and more out of the flow. Life is meant to be good. When you get in the flow and you raise your energy, law of attraction brings you greater probabilities, greater experiences. And at that point, you start to tap into the richness, what I like to call the richness of life. Because it may be riches, financial riches, it may be love, it may be creativity, it may be having your own business, it may be having your dream home. It also just may be enjoying the things that you already have that aren't as fulfilling as they could be. It may be something as simple as a sunset all of a sudden looking brighter. I have totally taken people on retreats where we do energetic work, we raise our energy, and things physically look brighter. You know, they kind of go, wow. It's like they think they're on drugs because all of a sudden life is brighter, they feel better, everything seems better. That's what it means to be in the flow. In the flow, you're more connected to yourself, your God, your source energy, life, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And when you're connected that way, everything is sweeter. You are enjoying the richness of life because you're living by the law of self, which means you are living who you are. You can't help but have it seem like law of attraction is having you attract effortlessly, although you are raising your energy, so you're attracting things. Your magnetism is just bringing those better probabilities to you. And the best place to be in is that place where you really have the choice. Because when you vibrate high enough, you can choose whether you open the box and find out how the cat is, or whether you leave the box closed and just walk away. Either way, life is meant to be sweet. Get in the flow and enjoy more and more of the richness of life so that whether the next level of your life is sweeter, that happens, or whether you're going to find more of the sweetness that's really here now so that your now moment is far more enhanced, at which point your next now moment will be too. Again, I'm Kaylin, and I hope that you have a really good sense of your probabilities now and that you help yourself get in the flow so that you're just in that sweet place. Over on here, he wants me to remind you that if you've enjoyed this video and you didn't hit subscribe, please do. That way you'll catch our next fantastic video. Or join our email list, get into our tribe, so to speak, and that way you'll get some great stuff like videos that are only available to the tribe, as well as mini classes and all sorts of things like information about workshops and things like that. Thanks for joining us, and I am sure that it's quite probable that you, when you do your golden flow, will get into a fantastic flow and attract effortlessly.